Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Good.
Y'all doing good?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start doing some math today. Today is our math day, and so we're gonna do math today. And so I know that y'all always have anxiety when it comes to math. And so I am going to have y'all to fill out a little, what I call a math anxiety survey. And so this math anxiety survey that I'm getting ready to pass out to you, it's gonna give you an opportunity to kind of give yourself a little test, give yourself a little survey to kind of see where you are when it comes to math. You get to kind of take a little test, answer some questions, and we're going to go through it. It's either you agree or you disagree. The range is from 1 to 5, and you're kind of going to see how you feel when it comes to math. And so the first question asks you, it says, I fear math tests more than any other kind of test. So how would you range that? Would you, between a 1 and a 5, with 1 being that you totally disagree and 5 being that you agree, how would you feel about that? Because I know we get anxiety when it comes to math, but this is how you feel about math, not how I feel about math. This is going to help me to assess you, but this is going to help you to see how you are when it comes to math.
And it's 1 through 3.
See the score, it ranges from 1 to 5.
Right.
So 1 meaning that you totally disagree with the statement or you totally agree with this statement. Okay. So how do you feel about that in regards to yourself when it comes to math?
You want me to tell you?
No, you're gonna score your skill. No, I'm gonna look at this later. Okay. So this is something for me to take up to be able to assess, so I'll know how on further lessons how to work with you guys as we go further in this program. Okay, as far as y'all getting your high school equivalency, I'll know how to work with you and what kind of lessons I need to plan for you as students. This will help me to know what I need to plan. Okay, and it'll be able to help you to assess yourself and be able to see where you are in regards to math. Okay, the second one says, I am in the wrong math class for my level of math ability. So how do you range that on going from disagree to agree? All right, next. All the other students learn math faster and do better on tests than me. Okay. I avoid math classes and homework assignments. All right, the next one. And I'll let you continue to go so on and so forth. You guys know how this goes. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take all of these and you're going to add them up. If you need any help, let me know. I'm here to help you do that. All right, so we're not going to talk about what we got, but were you surprised with what you got? Were you surprised? Did it surprise you, or were you like, oh, I am not surprised?
I'm kind of surprised.
You surprised in a good way or a bad way?
Good way.
Good way?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. Because moving forward in this math class, you want to be able to have something to motivate you and encourage you as you move forward. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to motivate you and encourage you as you move forward. And I'm going to take these up and I'm going to keep these because I'm going to look at them. And this will help me also to assess you as we move forward in the math class. So make sure that you do put your name on it so I know what student it is. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so today we're going to move on and we're going to do something called multiplying fractions with unlike denominators. I know as adults sometimes math, you've probably been a long time since you've done math like that, dealing with fractions, and a lot of times fractions is probably not some of the things that you like to do. A lot of times math is not a strong suit, and I know sometimes you need a refresher, so I'm going to give you a refresher. And we're going to use a process called UPS. I'm going to use a couple processes that you may want to write these down because these are processes that will help you along the way as you go forward in math. They will help you to be able to do these problems. You'll find out in math there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of things that if you learn the rules of math, it makes math a lot easier for you. So we're going to use a problem solving method. It's one of the many methods that I would teach you in the class and it'll make it very easy. But this is called UPS. And so we're going to do multiplying fractions with unlike denominators. So first of all, when you're looking at UPS, the first thing that you want to do is you want to be able to understand. U stands for understand. You want to be able to understand what the problem is asking you to do. Okay? So for a problem I'm going to write up here. The problem that I'm going to write up here is 6 over 8 times 3 over 12. And one of the things you want to ask yourself is, what am I asked to do? What is this problem asking me to do? First of all, we know we have to multiply, right? Because first of all, that's what it's telling us to do.
Right.
So the next thing that we have to do, we have to create a plan. We have to figure out how are we going to multiply this. In order to do this, we have to create a problem-solving strategy in order to do this. There are two methods that I'm going to show you today, okay? And that is through using a strategy. So one is to understand, two is to create a plan. And then of course, the third thing, which is the S, is to solve it. Okay? Do we have any questions so far? Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
If you have any questions, let me know.
I sure will.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to erase this because we're going to rewrite this problem. And we're going to now create our strategy. There are two strategies that you can utilize for this problem. Again, our problem is 6 over 8 times 3 over 12. There are two strategies or methods that you can use to solve this problem. I'm going to show you method 1. You can choose whatever method you want. This is creating our plan by trying to find the correct method that works for you, okay? So, one way that you can do this, an easy way to do this in multiplication is by looking across to see which has a greatest common or a factor in common, okay? We know that 3 and 8 does not have a factor in common, so we cannot use that. But we do know that 6 and 12 does. So what you can do is, you know that 6 and 12 have 6 in common. That is the greatest common factor that they have in common. So you can divide 6 by 6, you can divide 12 by 6. You can use that for both of those. You could use other numbers. You could use 2, you could use 3 if you wanted to use 3, but I use 6. I use the greatest common factor. I use 6. Okay, because if I use the other one, it would keep going on and on and on. But I use 6, okay? So, when I do this, the next thing I would do is say 6 divided by 6 is 1. Then here, I say 6 divided by 12 would give me what? 2. I will go down here and rewrite this because there's too many things going on here. So then I would have 1 over 8 times 3 over 2. That's my new fraction. All you have to do now, you just go ahead straight across and you can multiply straight across. So now you go 3 times 1 is 3. 8 times 2 is 16. And there you go. That's your final answer. 3 over 16, you're done. You can't do anything else. You cannot reduce it. You can't simplify. You have to always make sure that everything is simplified as small as it can go. That's method 1. Method 2 with the same problem. And we're still talking about planning, strategies. I have another method called just do it. The method is just what it says. All you do the multiplication straight across. 6 times 3 is 18. And what's 8 times 12? Do you know?
8 times 12,
96.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
You do it straight across. Now, the only issue with this is what?
You gotta break it down.
Yes, we have to break it down. You're right, Ms. Bird. We have to simplify it. So how will we simplify it is that we have to find out what can go into this and what can go into this evenly to simplify it. What number can we use in both the top and the bottom?
6.
It's 6. So 6 goes into 18 3 times. 6 goes into 96 16 times. And there's the same answer you got up here. Method 2 is called just do it. All right, good job today, guys. Y'all did an excellent job today. And so now, before we leave for today, I want you guys to complete this exit ticket. On this exit ticket, I want you to answer these two questions. I want you to answer, what have you learned and what is it that you're still struggling with? And I will pick it up at the end of class. Good afternoon, my name is Kamora Brown and I'm an adult basic skills instructor at Advanced Granville Community College. And you just saw me teach a mini lesson on fractions with unlike denominators. I was just able to teach some of my students some of the techniques that I learned through the North Carolina Community College and Career Readiness Corps instructor professional development training that I just took. I was able to teach them some of the things such as the development math reasoning or the UPS problem solving method. I was able to show them two methods through that. Some of the things that we learned, one of the methods was called the just do it. And they seemed to like that one, but they seemed to like the first method that I used, which was showing them how to use the greatest common factors through using the cross multiplying method. It seemed like they really enjoyed that method. Also, I was able to, when we first started, I also gave them the math anxiety survey because some of them showed that they did have a little bit of anxiety when it came to taking a math course, and some of them had not done math in a while, and some of them had stated that they had a hard time with math. So the math survey, after they had took it, you heard a couple of them say that they were surprised at the results, and some of them said they weren't surprised at the results, and they were happy with the results, which I think was a little bit encouraging to the students. Also, at the end, I gave them my rendition of the minute papers, which was something that I actually had gotten off of one of the instructors in one of the discussion boards, which said that she had did something with the sticky note. So I had put the minute paper on a sticky note and used it as an exit ticket. And I gave them two questions. One was what they learned, and the other was what they struggled on during the lesson, so that I would know how to assess them and help them as they move forward. I think one of my aha moments as I was taking this course was realizing that when I worked in public school, some of the many things that I had taught when I worked in public school as an EC resource teacher actually is very valuable in teaching adult basic skills. And as I was going through this and seeing some of the material, it was like, wow, some of this stuff is actually really going to be really stuff that I can use to help my students now, and it's stuff that my students can really utilize, even the resources online, stuff that I've kept from when I was an EC resource teacher. It's very valuable, and it was like a really big aha moment for me to know that that stuff that I use is really valuable. So I think that was one of the biggest aha moments for me. But I really enjoyed taking the course. This course has been really valuable to me, and I just cannot wait to be able to get back into the face-to-face environment to be able to continue to help my students. But I thank God for the opportunity to be able to just be able to do this mini lesson, to be able to show what I have learned. And I hope that you enjoyed the mini lesson, and I hope that it showed my skills. And thanks so much for the opportunity, and take care.